What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Mario coming to you with another video. Here to give my review for the brand new fourth installment, Thor Love and Thunder. If y'all can please leave a like and subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. I would very much appreciate it so I can continue and try to be as consistent as possible with these. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Thor Love and Thunder is the fourth installment in the Thor franchise, and he is the first superhero to have a fourth movie. Now, it is a good movie, but I do have some problems with it. Before I say any more, I just want to say this is a spoiler review. It's hard for me to do like regular reviews because I like to talk about everything. And so if you have not seen this movie, please check it out and then come back to me. And, if you want to hear what I got to say, then we can talk about spoilers. But yes, this is a spoiler review. So Thor Love and Thunder begins with Christian Bale's Gore origin story. Now, me personally, I didn't know much of Gore's backstory, his origin, and I didn't really see him in the comics. So to, see this on the big screen, and especially played by one of my personal favorite actors, Christian Bale, I was excited for it. And in the beginning of it, he tragically loses his daughter, and then he finds out the god that he worships is a complete asshole. And so that's where you get the scene from the trailer where he's like, I made this vow, all gods will die. Like, you see that the beginning is his motive. And honestly, I think he gave a fantastic performance. I loved his portrayal as Gore, but my only problem is I wish we would have seen more of it because he was so intimidating. He was so cool. Like I said, he's just one of the best actors in the game right now. And I just felt like we needed a little bit more of him. We also have Jane returning, and now she holds Mjolnir and is the mighty Thor. I didn't know much of that storyline either from the comics. I did a brief read where she has cancer, and that's how she's able to get the powers of Thor. And so watching it play out in the movie, I actually liked her storyline. It was emotional, especially what happens towards the end. Like I said, this is a spoiler review where she dies because every time she holds Mjolnir and she becomes the mighty Thor, her life force, her actual physical life force is just being drained. So it's killing her. And at the end of the movie, she does die from it. But it is a worthy sacrifice in battle. With Jane returning, it obviously put Thor back in his feels because they broke up and she last wrote him a letter why they needed to break up. And honestly, Taika Waititi gave like a nice montage leading up to Thor and Jane's heartbreak. And so personally, I dug it a lot, especially because in Thor the Dark World, like it just felt like the chemistry was off. And obviously she wasn't in Thor Ragnarok. And so to bring her back into this with her cancer storyline, their relationship felt more believable and it felt fresh too, in a sense. It's sad when they break up, and obviously it's even more emotional too when she dies in Thor's arms. Natalie Portman gave a fantastic performance, especially through the cancer mighty Thor storyline. But I did have a problem with Thor though. Now, it's been shown and recorded how Chris Hemsworth mentioned how he was getting tired of playing Thor in the movies. And so when Taika Waititi took over, it gave him back his life, It just felt fresh. And you could totally tell in Thor Ragnarok, they let him kind of improv more. And Chris Hemsworth is a fantastic performer. He's a fantastic actor. And he has great comedic timing, great comedic beats. He's a funny actor. And so you got to see more of that in Thor Ragnarok. But in this movie, it feels like they multiplied it times two, Thor almost acts more of a buffoon in this one. And so sometimes there are some cringe-worthy moments with him. It felt like every time he was talking and gave a sentence, at the end of it, there was going to be a punchline. There was going to be a joke. And sometimes the joke lands, and other times it kind of just felt cringe. And I don't know. I was half because, like I said, he was given new life in Thor Ragnarok, and basically that movie felt perfectly balanced. It was emotional and it was funny, and he wasn't trying hard or not too hard. It just seemed everything comedy wise in that movie regarding Thor just felt, perfect. But this one, like I said, it's definitely multiplied by two, and sometimes it's like, I don't know, not everything lands. But I mean, some people will enjoy it and other people won't. But obviously, that's up to you guys to see how you feel about it. We also had a newcomer in Russell Crowe playing Zeus, and I thought he was pretty funny. Definitely a different take from like the mythology. He was kind of a joke. He did definitely show some aggressive elements in some scenes, particularly in the post credit scene, which I'll talk to at the end. I still enjoyed his character. He wasn't too much, but the only thing that was very cringeworthy is when y'all see it, is he did talk about having an orgy at least 3 times. I was like, what the hell? It was kind of cringe. Usually I can take those jokes, but how he said it, it made it very cringe. And so, other than that, I thought he was a fine character. He will be coming back for the fifth movie, I believe, because as I mentioned, what happens in the post-credit scenes. Korg was funny. No, Taika Waititi, the director, as Korg, he was funny as usual, and Valkyrie was just, a badass. I kind of wish she would have had more stuff to do, but I was perfectly fine with it. A couple of my problems were just the pacing and balance. Whereas in Thor Ragnarok, there was an emotional storyline going for it, and it was more funnier, definitely more funnier than the previous movies in the Dark World and his first movie. But if it just felt right, it felt perfectly balanced. Or in this one, they had to balance, Jane's storyline where she has cancer. They had to balance Gore's introduction and his origin and his motives for the movie, and then you also get like a subplot with Thor in a love triangle with his two hammers, Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. And I don't know, it just felt like there was a lot to do given in such short amount of time. It just should have been more a better writing for it too, and just the pacing. All of these storylines come to a close in the end, but you just wish you had more time with each storyline, or you wish that they could have focused on one, because those are big storylines, especially for comic readers. I know there's a big old fan base for those storylines, for Gore and the Mighty Thor. And for me, not knowing much of them, like, it was okay, but I still felt that we needed more time with this. As I last checked, it was around like the 72, 69% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I mean, I know no one should go based off critics, because obviously it's all about the audience score, if audience are loving it. But, like me personally, I still kind of look at the critics score and be like, like, that's interesting. And so, yeah, the fact that it is like a 72, 69% Rotten Tomatoes, it definitely raised an eyebrow. But the movie was funny. The action sequences were amazing. I love the scenery, because from Thor and Thor Dark World, you kind of got this real world, more grays, dark color palette schemes. And when Taika Waititi took over, the colors just popped. They're so vibrant, they're so bright, and it was just a visually stunning movie to look at. And the same goes for this movie too. It was beautiful. I definitely feel like people are gonna enjoy this. There's a lot going for it, but that's why for me it's behind Thor Ragnarok, because like I mentioned, Thor Ragnarok to me, it just felt more perfectly balanced, where this had a lot going for it in such short amount of time. A couple things that I left out too right before I get into the post credit scene and my overall review is that I love that the fact that they had a training montage for Thor, and we got to see it over like a story that Korg was telling kids. And yeah, I mean, it was cool for him to get away from his dad bod to a god bod. And I hope it can say that it motivated me because, yeah, I really wish I looked like Chris Hemsworth as Thor because, damn, he worked his ass off for this movie. And last but not least, I can't forget about the Guardians. The Guardians, obviously, from Thor, not Thor, from Avengers Endgame, Thor went off with the Guardians. And so you pick up where they left off, they're in battle and it's great to see those characters again. You know, I love me some Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. I love me Rocket, Mantis, Nebula, and Dave Bautista's character, which I can't think of right now. But Drax, there you go. But yeah, I mean, it was amazing seeing them, and it just kind of hyped me up for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Also, one last negative right before I get into my review and post-credit scenes. I didn't like where they ended the story for Thor. So at the ending, Gore dies. He is able to bring back his daughter through eternity, which eternity, if you're a comic book fan, that's an amazing thing that they did in this movie. I was like, that's pretty cool that they were able to, show us eternity. It wasn't given much to do other than bring back Gore's daughter, but I thought that was a pretty cool Easter egg right there. And so, yeah, Gore's able to bring her back, his daughter, and then the Mike Jane dies, but right before Gore dies, he tells Thor to protect her. And so throughout the movies and of like Avengers and Thor, I never kind of thought, or there was never hints of that Thor would be like a parent. And so like halfway through this movie, there was a couple references about people having kids. I can't remember the first one. I know there was two, but the second one was where Korg says that he thinks Thor would make a good dad. And so when I heard those hints, I'm like, I feel like something's gonna happen with these hints. And at the end of the movie, as like I said, Gore dies, he tells Thor to protect her. That's what he does. You see him like in a house with an apron on, whipping up some pancakes for Gore's daughter. Then they spring into battle. And so I was kind of confused. I don't know what to make of that because, as I mentioned, I never thought and I never felt like that's where they were heading with Thor's character. He was going to be a father. And so, yeah, I'm not sure what to feel about that. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, we shall see going forward what happens with that. She probably could join the Young Avengers because I know they are leading up to that. But with all that said, Thor Love and Thunder is a good time. There is something for everyone to like. And it's also kind of bad because you might want to see more of these storylines fleshed out and expanded upon. So, and the comedy might not be for everyone. It might be a little bit too much. But it's still enjoyable. Characters gave a fantastic performance. It's visually stunning to look at. Action sequences were top notch. The soundtrack was fire. But yeah, it just lacked some pacing and it just lacked some balance. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this review, Thor: Love and Thunder, a 7.5 out of 10. I mean, when y'all watch it, hopefully y'all can reach out and let me know what y'all think because I would love to talk about it. And who knows, I probably left some things out that I couldn't think of at the moment. So please feel free to reach out so we can talk about it. But now let's get on to the post-credit scenes. The first post-credit scene is Zeus. So right before that trailer where, they strip down Thor, where Zeus flicks Thor and he's butt-ass naked, right after that, Thor actually kills Zeus. Well, so we think. He shoots Zeus's lightning bolt through his chest, and then he falls down, and we presume he's dead, but no, he is alive. And so he's talking about how, like, they feel he made a mockery of the gods and stuff, and so they need to be taught a lesson. And so he's talking to someone off screen, but then we see who he's talking to, and he's talking to his son, Hercules. Hercules. I don't know too much about Hercules in the Marvel comics. Obviously, Hercules is a god. I know that much, but I don't know how he is in the Marvel comics lore. And so that's going to be pretty cool. You know, I can't wait to find out more about Hercules. My guess is that he's going to go toe to toe with Thor in Thor 5 since Thor will return. And so I think that would be pretty cool. You know, someone to give a Thor a run for his money and who can go, you know, toe to toe with him. So that's pretty cool. You know, I like that post credit scene. But there is one also at the very end. And I forgot the name of the place, but it's basically heaven for the gods. We catch up with Jane. She's like walking through the pearly gates, and she sees someone, and we see that it's Heimdall. Idris Elba as Heimdall returns. It's always great seeing him. For sure, you know, he's one of the most underutilized character in this whole franchise because Idris Elba, obviously an amazing actor. And I know it's not the first time someone has said it, and it won't be the last. And he tells her that, you know, this is the name of that place for the gods. And he thanks her for helping out his son, because I didn't give out the motive for Gore, but like I mentioned, Gore loses a daughter and then he loses faith in the gods, so he seeks out to kill them. And then to lure out Thor, he captures New Asgard's kids. And one of those kids happened to be Heimdall's kid. And so obviously, you know, they defeated Gore and they were able to save the kids. But yeah, Heimdall, you know, thanks her for saving the kids and, you know, and welcomes her to heaven. And so it's a pretty cool post credit scene. I love seeing Heimdall. Obviously, I love Idris Elba. He's one of my favorite actors working to this day. But I wonder if they'll show more of that going forward. I think they do, because if they didn't want to, I don't think they would have this post credit scene. So it'd be cool to see how like that heaven works and who's in there, because obviously the 616, the Loki died. So is he up there? And obviously Thor's dad, you know, Odin, he could possibly be up there too. So yeah, I'm curious to see where they take that, and I personally hope to see a little bit more of that in Thor 5. But that is it, everyone. That is my review on the brand new movie Thor Love and Thunder. If you guys saw it, what did you guys think about it? Comment below and let me know. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, please do so. That means a lot to me. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace and rock on and love. That was lame. Peace, guys.